us through your reaction, your feelings right now.
Sure. I think I share everyone's sentiment, the entire nation, the entire country, maybe, Jews around the world. We are devastated. We are broken. We are, in despair. But on the other hand, we, as a nation, understand that we've been through worse, not much worse, but worse. And we've, come out on the other end stronger. And I don't have any doubt that that will be the case here. But, it would be dishonest of me if I didn't mention that as I'm sitting here listening to the reports, I have to mention, would the media be reporting Nazi Germany and how many innocent Germans are in Nazi Germany and how the humanitarian crisis is so horrible in Germany and in Afghanistan after 9/11? The reporting is mind-boggling. Why is there an obsession with Gaza when Hamas, the government that the civilians in Gaza elected, came in here and brutally, savagely murdered, raped, and abducted 1,300 people, and all the media is obsessed with is the humanitarian crisis in Gaza? They should turn to Hamas for that. They should turn to Egypt to take them in. I don't even understand why it's even part of the dialogue. It should not be. It is dangerous, and it is dishonest.
Hillel, this is exactly what I would like to unpack. There is so much confusion in the media space and in the social media space, and many questions around the response to this war so far. Hamas has a very clear charter outlining in no uncertain terms its mandate as such to eradicate Jews. Why then, when it's there in black and white, is it difficult for certain international news channels to refer to this killing rampage on the 7th of October, which targeted civilians, some of whom were butchered in front of their families, and other unimaginable atrocities? Why is it so difficult for some to call Hamas terrorists?
Well, because let's start with the fact that it's not just Hamas whose charter says that. The PLO, the moderate Palestinians, right? Go look at their charter. They exist so that Israel does not exist. These people do not have a nationalistic agenda. They have one agenda: dead Jews. And it might not be politically correct. It might not be pleasant to hear, but the entire country here is in post-traumatic stress here, and we're trying our best not to see these horrible, horrible videos that these absolute savages are sharing proudly on social media. So the question I'm going to throw it back at you: why are we even discussing Hamas and the PLO or the Palestinian Authority as two separate entities, when in reality, literally, there is nothing different between what the PA, the Palestinian people, did here in Gaza as compared to what Germans did in Nazi Germany? They elected them, and they, as a nation, elected them. And, those who say, well, they didn't have a choice. Who said that before? That was the Nazis' claim. We were just following orders. It's time we got out of this, this moral bankruptcy of, these poor Palestinians. These poor Palestinians, as a people, elected Hamas. Hamas did what they did. These people are celebrating in the streets. And not to say there aren't innocent Palestinians in Gaza. Of course there are. And there were millions of innocent Germans who died in World War II, and that is tragic. But that is the nature of war. And let's not get confused between morality and moral relativism as if there's two sides to this conflict. There are not two sides. There's good and there's evil, and that is the end of the story. And anybody who perpetuates this narrative is part of the problem. It needs to stop.
Exacerbating exactly what you are saying is the fact, of course, that Hamas films this brutality. They wanted the world to see, and yet it's fascinating to see that organizations like the BBC are still talking about militants. If any human being with a heart, with feelings, with compassion saw the brutality, saw the depravity that is videoed, recorded, and going viral, it would be difficult to describe it as anything other than evil and terror. Hillel, obviously the focus right now is on the Israeli response on the ground, possibly a ground invasion soon. But in terms of Israel's perception in the media, on social media, what we're discussing, what can it do better in the so-called public space, the fact-checking, the debunking of fake claims like who really was behind that hospital blast, and the likes of a Greta Thunberg and others pivoting from climate change to bizarre pictures and memes? What can Israel do in that sphere right now?
Well, this is not a new challenge. This is a challenge we've always faced on social media. They outnumber us, and they have absolutely no desire to stick to the truth. We stick to the truth. So we're not going to win the numbers game ever. But I believe what we've always done, what I've always told, people that I work with in the IDF or in the government to do is stick to the truth, even if the truth is sometimes hard because, the state of Israel, we make mistakes too. So own your mistakes, but stick to the truth. Don't lie. And, at the end of the day, truth will prevail. I truly believe that. But, again, if you're going to look at the numbers, there's no way we're going to win this war. Right now, the amount of misinformation and just blatant lies about Israel, and I'm not talking about from terrorists in Gaza. That's not what I'm talking about. Let's be very clear here. I'm talking about the quote-unquote intellectual Western woke community, whether it's investors in Silicon Valley, whether it's, like you said, environmentalists or other people, as if the Palestinians care about human rights. I declared proudly on my social media that anybody who's part of the LGBTQ community, I personally vouch to fly them first class to Gaza. Let them bring their flags and let them protest on behalf of the LGBTQ community in Gaza. I will fly them in. The hypocrisy is mind-boggling. It's staggering. Where are people's, morality? Where are people's logic? This is counter-logical, counterintuitive. It makes no sense. And the answer to your question is simple. Everything you described is true. So what's the contra? What's the other side? Why are people behaving this way? The answer is the hatred for Jews always has been and always will be stronger than any other morality or ethics or anything else that the world possesses. The hatred of Jews has always been here and will always be here. And now, just 2 weeks later, it is unbelievable to see, after everything Hamas did, the world doesn't stand by Israel. What does the world have to see in order to understand that we are the moral side of this conflict? I don't think there's anything they will see that will actually get them to stand with the Jews. And the hospital that you mentioned is a perfect example. I happen to have had access to early information that this hospital was bombed before anyone knew about it. And I had information that it wasn't the IDF because they had not bombed that area. And I notified on my X, on my Twitter, to many, many millions of people. And I told them, you're about to hear about an explosion. Be aware, this was not Israel. And somehow, when it came out, there was even a doubt that it was Israel. All of a sudden, all the press, 500 people, Israel. The second they heard it wasn't Israel, where did it go? Where are the titles? Where the fact that it's not 500? The fact that it's not even a hospital? Where did they go? It's Jew hatred. It's old-fashioned Jew hatred. I'm sorry that's, it's cliche and there's nothing we can do about it. The hatred of Jews will always remain stronger than morality and ethics around the world. And it's a sad, tragic situation.
Hillel Fuld, you're describing a very sad and tragic situation indeed. Live from Beit Shemesh, we appreciate you speaking to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.